Speaking of GB News and debates on Israel-Palestine, they actually got on a TikToker who usually just kind of street interviews and things like that. He's a bit of a character, he's called Goub, and he would usually just kind of do very kind of run-of-the-mill, lowest common denominator content. But he has been doing lots of pro-Palestine content. I believe he is related to Palestinians. And he was invited on to debate Esther McVey, which I think is going to be an interesting debate. So let's have a watch of that one as well.
I'm now joined by pro-Palestine activist and social media influencer Goub. So tell us, why are you taking to the streets?
Can I just quickly apologise for wearing a hat in the studio? I don't want to be disrespectful. I've just got a terrible hairline. Okay.
Don't you worry. I would have coped with your hairline, but I really wanted to know why you're taking to the streets.
Right. The reason I'm taking to the streets is because there are children dying, there are mothers dying, there are fathers dying. On both sides, you know, people are being affected by what I can only describe as barbarism from both sides. So I need to go out and speak and try and get a message out to the youth to let them know that the Palestinians need their voice.
And we'll all agree with that blood is being shed quite unnecessarily. Young people, adults are losing their lives. So you, therefore, must condemn Hamas here live on this TV show.
We couldn't even get in, 58 seconds? That's including a little clip as well there. So less than a minute into the debate. And already we're at, do you condemn Hamas? Great work. Is that a speed run for you there, Esther McVey?
For the atrocious attacks of the 7th of October.
Sure.
And, you know, that's what you say. Are you going to say it? Yes.
Sorry, ask the question again.
Hamas.
Do I condemn Hamas is the question, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't condemn Hamas. I want them to kill everybody.
Well,
is that the soundbite you wanted? Death to America! Of course I condemn it. I condemn the violence on both sides. Right. So I've seen this on TikTok. I can't believe you actually started with, do you condemn Hamas? What do you think? Do you think I'm Hamas?
Right, look, you're not on TikTok now. I know. TikTok.
I mean, this is incredible, right? We have a sitting Tory MP having her narrative being completely blown apart in front of her by a TikToker. Just going, what do you think I am, Hamas? What is this? What are you doing? What dance are you playing here? This is nonsense, right? Violence is bad on all sides. Let's actually talk about the facts here, right? Immediately completely dismantled by a TikToker. Perfect.
You're obviously, you know...
OK, let me ask you a question. Do you condemn Israel?
I'm condemning people who...
Do you condemn Israel is the question.
Hang on a second. You're here to answer the questions.
Yeah, sure.
Esther, you are a sitting MP. You're a sitting MP. We pay your bills. We pay for you to represent us. You will answer our questions. Thank you very much.
Ask silly questions. I can ask them too.
And I didn't ask silly questions. I'm glad to hear that you have condemned Hamas.
What did you expect me to say?
Hamas.
Well, of course I condemn the death of innocents.
That's right.
Release the hostages, but also release the Palestinian hostages. 15,000 of them. Actually, sorry, my bad. There's 2 million of them in Gaza and another 3 million in the West Bank. If we want to talk about hostages, how dare you insinuate that I'm a terrorist? Because that's what you're trying to do.
I'm not doing anything.
What do you mean do you condemn Israel? Do you condemn Hamas?
You are talking, you know,
come
on your own.
That is so unfair.
No, nothing is unfair.
People in my family are dying, and if you are...
Both sides they are, and what we need to do, in a sensible way, is how do we resolve it? How do we resolve this matter? And when you have people like the ex-Hamas foreign secretary saying we want to annihilate Israel and we want to bring more October the 7th attacks,
I think that's
how
terrible.
do we therefore get to peace and a solution?
With all due respect, I know it's your show, but I'm not going to let you just gloss over what you just tried to do.
I'm not glossing over anything.
May I speak without being interrupted?
Yes, and you have for a while.
So what you've just done...
And it's interesting, again, she's, well, how can we stop the cycle of violence? Yeah, he already talked about that, right? 2 million people penned in the prison that is the Gaza Strip, right? We've already discussed this already here.
Done is start off, just like every other racist media publication. This is supposed to be an accredited media source. You're interrupting me again. Can I speak?
Please,
May I speak?
May
I speak?
Yes, you can.
Okay, this is supposed
you are.
This is supposed to be an accredited media source, right?
It is.
OK, so have you seen how you guys report on the protests? Have you seen it? Everyone at home, type in GB News Palestine. Tell me if it's not the most sensationalistic coverage of the protests that you've ever seen in your life. The only things these guys are doing is trying to get clicks, and they're trying to fool you and hoodwink you into thinking that we're animals and that we're racist and we support terrorist organisations.
Look, the only person who wants clicks is you, because you do, as you said.
Yeah, I do want clicks. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because there is unfair representation by the British media. Check out GB News Palestine. It's racism at its core. How dare you...
It's true. He's absolutely 100% correct, right? As somebody who has covered a lot of GB News' coverage of the Israel-Palestine conflict and the protests, at no point has any of the actual real protesters gone, maybe it's bad. that certain members of our government describe them as hate marches, maybe indeed is a tiny minority, and indeed that there is a perfectly reasonable debate to be had between the right of Israel to defend itself and the rights of the Palestinians to be free from occupation. At no point has anyone ever on GB News said anything of the sort.
I think there is extremism in some of your groups.
Of course, my groups? What do you mean by my groups? Arabs, Muslims, content creators?
In the ones that have taken the streets.
Listen.
In 100,000 in the last weekend.
Of course there are. There is extremism in every facet of the world. If someone headbutted a police officer at the football, should we ban football for the weekend? Should we call all people that go to the football games violence and thugs? No, we shouldn't. So what you've done is disingenuous. You started with, do you condemn Hamas? For what reason? To frame the conversation in a light that I am sympathetic with terrorists. Did you know that my family are dying in this conflict? So let me ask you a question. Do you condemn Israel? Do you condemn Israel? You asked me.
He's smart. He's fucking spitting facts. He's spitting facts, chap. He's absolutely spitting facts, and it's right. He's exactly what they're doing. It's exactly what that line is for. It's exactly for that line. It's the insinuation that anybody who potentially even has any amount of sympathy with the plight of the Palestinians as being a terrorist synthesizer, which we were told all of the way 2015, all the way through 2019, we were told that Jeremy Corbyn was a terrorist synthesizer because he thought maybe indeed a colonial occupying force penning people into an open air prison and engaging in summary executions in the West Bank whilst continuing encroaching on territory, violating international law and committing war crimes was indeed a bad thing. And we were told we were a terrorist synthesizer because we happen to agree on this one issue with Hamas. Like, we don't agree with everything else they say, obviously, but, there is the certain issue of the settlements in the West Bank and indeed the indiscriminate violence and indeed the occupation that is just de facto bad. But of course, the Western colonial mindset can't even see that. They can't see that. They can't break it down and say, maybe the white state is in the wrong here on this one. Maybe the set of colonial state might not actually be justified in everything that it does there. But if you question that at all, suddenly you're a terrorist synthesizer. That's it.
I'm Palestine, right? Because I'm a terrorist sympathizer. Do you condemn Israel for what they're doing?
I believe Israel has the right to defend itself.
Do you condemn them?
Actions
okay, but do you condemn them for killing innocents? Be fair here. Esther, I've been fair. Be fair. Do you condemn them for killing innocents?
I'm saying the only way forward is to make sure we don't have the terrorist attacks that we did. And I'm asking you, because you're taking to the streets, and I'm asking you, the streets of the UK, and I'm asking, how do we then get this peace settlement you want, both sides? How are we going to do it?
Okay, but first of all, you have to acknowledge on your end that the people who you support in this conflict, which is Israel, are committing acts that kill innocent civilians that you say are so bad that it requires condemnation when Hamas do it. See how the framing is completely lopsided and asymmetrical, when of course one of these is the occupier and one of these is the occupied. Yet suddenly we're trying to frame the occupied as if they're somehow the ones who are all of the fault here. It's incredible framing that they will try and do here. And then, how do we solve this conflict? How do we solve the problem? By first of all acknowledging the asymmetry, by first of all acknowledging the occupation, by first of all acknowledging that there are 75 years of failure to uphold the law. It's very, very simple.
Give us your answer.
The first thing we'll do is we'll have to sack off any media publications that pretend that they're trying to speak the truth, but in actual fact that what they want to do is divide us. I think you're amazing, Esther. I really do. You're actually one of the best at GB News. I'm sorry if I've seemed aggressive. My family are dying, and when you start off with a question like that, what that does is frame the conversation in a light that I'm a bad person. And you know it. Don't be disingenuous. You're too smart.
No, listen, my final question to you. When Hamas did those strikes on the 7th of October, did they know, and they must have realised, what the retaliation was going to be by Israel?
Hamas?
No, I'm asking about the incident, and you're here to talk about the incident.
What connection with Hamas do I have?
I'm saying they must have known that what the retaliation would be, so they have Hamas has put both the lives of Israelis and Palestinians at risk. Is that right?
I would agree with you. I think they have done that. But would you also agree? See, look how I answer your questions. Now, please offer me the same thing. Just answer the question. What about what Israel are doing? Would you say that they've put the lives of Israelis and Jews all over the world by ethnically cleansing, by kicking people out of their homes, by and you know this is a fact, continuously lying online?
Hang on, please don't put things as fact, continuously lying
so
online.
So is it not, is it not a...
What they've done
is
this
is so unfair.
Themselves.
This is so unfair. It is unfair, because what you're doing...
It's not unfair, but I want to thank you for coming in.
Of course you do.
She won't even do it, right? Again, she's a public servant. She's an elected MP. We pay for her kids to get fed every day with our tax money. And she won't even give him the respect to actually engage with what he's saying here, to actually engage with the points that he's making, and to actually answer any of his questions that are reasonable for her to be answering. Again, because he's literally right, okay? Like, if you want to end this cycle, then you have to at any point acknowledge what Israel are doing, what the state of Israel engages in, what the occupation means, and what the consequences of that has meant that's led to the situation that we've got into, right? Analysis is not justification, but you have to understand there will be a level to which any kind of material actions taken by the state of Israel will lead to material reactions by the people who are under that boot. It's very, very simple.
Have a nice day, guys. Thank you for letting me come in. I don't get to answer a bloody question. She gets to lambast me with bullshit and paint me as a terrorist. This is absolutely ridiculous. Where's the free media? Is this media?
You're doing
Let me get out. I take the mic off. Have a nice day. Have a nice day.
You're doing a wonderful job.
I'm acting. People are dying, and I'm acting, apparently. Thank you, Esther. Thank you for having me on the show. Barely answering any of my questions. Get this mic off me, bro. This is racism 101. Have a nice day, Esther.
You've done... thank you for coming on the
I mean, it was obviously all a little bit of an act at the end there. There was definitely some level of performativity, but he's not wrong that she didn't answer the questions. It's not wrong that she essentially wants to continue the asymmetry, to continue trying to paint anybody who's sympathetic to Palestine as being sympathetic with the terrorist that's engaged in Palestine's name. And she refused to engage in any of the actual construction that he wanted to engage in. And so, of course, I think he was right to leave. I think he was right to tear the mic off and say that this wasn't working. And he's right to condemn GB News and to castigate them for their failure to be objective on this crisis. So, it's good to see Tory MPs have their rhetoric thrown back in their face by a TikToker, no less. So well done, Goub. Thank you very much for that. I'll place his links down in the description. Hey there, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you like and leave a comment. That helps the video out in the algorithm. If you subscribe and ring the bell, it'll let you know when I go live. I stream every day on YouTube and Twitch. You can also follow all of my socials down in the description. And if you want to support me in a more financial manner, there's a join button for membership to just 99p to be a member on YouTube, as well as a Patreon, and there's some merch there as well. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.